to see the Queen at Balmoral before.
Morning, guys. Monday morning. And it ain't a very good
We
one.
will hear from her about her plans for office. And
As
she
I
will
found
not
out this
then
morning,
spell out her energy plan.
on Friday, I only gone and leave my number plate on the trailer that sailed. And me lights, my trailer lights. So I'm buggered. So now I need to buy a bleeding number plate, which aren't cheap. Oh. Living a dream, I'd say. Well, we're going to Skipton again, guys. Engine Shed Lane. Guess I'm doing the same route as I did last week. Soon be going to court because I got a load of court papers in at the weekend. Fuming. It was only a couple of weeks ago I got stopped with no number plate.
It is 23 minutes to 7 hours.
Well, you know this is going to be wacky races on the M180, don't we? Well, it's like the ferry lads have been let out early.
Avoid energy Armageddon, a quote there from an insider. It has been extremely actively explored, we're told by the telecom idea, of freezing energy bills. With the key economic advisor to Liz Truss, Gerald Lyon, saying to the Royals, we're getting it, we're looking back.
On the front page of The Guardian, looking at the announcement that came from the German Chancellor yesterday, of a package equivalent to £56 billion. Really interesting to see what he had to say on our Chancellor in the press conference that he had, saying that Germany is going to reduce consumer prices for gas, coal and oil using the income from windfall taxes on electricity producers that he accused of making excessive profits. He said some energy companies that may not be using gas to generate electricity were simply using the fact that the high price of gas determines the price of electricity and are therefore making a lot of money. He said we have therefore resolved to change the market organisation in such a way that these random profits no longer occur. To take away from that, and The Guardian also looked at what's happened in the last few days and weeks in France and Spain, and how Italy is working on an emergency plan, although it's unclear, The Guardian says, what may happen if elections this month bring the far right to power.
Now, Michelle, I can't see what you're wearing as I'm in Westminster and you're in the studio, but you are slightly less likely to be wearing a loungewear velour tracksuit. Can you confirm this?
Even less likely than usual in any normal year.
As in less than not at all likely. Yeah, well, interestingly, John Lewis have done a survey, it's in the Times, a couple of other papers as well, looking at the fact we're buying different things that we did during the lockdown as we, quotes, reclaimed our homes and left the office at the shop.
Well, you didn't buy much in a lockdown, did you, mate? With the one month's
there is a
open.
big increase in the sale of suits and a huge increase in the sale of what we call occasion hats, which are very nice wearing.
What about cardigans? That is my attire this morning, since you were asking. Smart, I hasten to add.
I have to buy an occasion hat every week because I lose every cap I've got on a bald man needs. So I'm very good for the cap business.
Our main news this morning is that Liz Truss is widely expected to be named the new Conservative leader and Britain's next Prime Minister when the result of a ballot of Tory party members is revealed at lunchtime today. Let's go right back to those periods of the various lockdowns and what we did at home, cooked more, did DIY. Well, it turns out that locked down zoo animals had their own changes to life as they no longer had visitors peering in at them. Dr. Ellen Williams has been studying this. She's a lecturer in animal behaviour and welfare at Harper Adams University in Newport in Shropshire. Morning, Dr. Williams.
Good morning.
What did you find?
So we found, in essence, we sort of found slightly variable responses. Some of the species were spending more time resting, more time alone, and then some were performing more sexual and dominance behaviours. So we're just seeing this kind of slight shift between what they were doing when the facilities were closed and compared to when they're open.
More sexual and dominant behaviour?
Yeah, so that was in the olive baboon. So these are the olive baboons that knows the safari, and what the keepers think is happening is that the younger individuals, which have really obviously got the stimulation from the cars going through the spike bar, not exercising the behaviour of the adult. So we did see this increase in sexual behaviour when the zoo was closed. And then when it was reopened, we saw a reduction in sexual behaviour, but we also saw they were approaching the visitors' cars more than they've been approaching the ranger's truck when it was just the ranger's truck. Swapped cars out for sex during the lockdown.
Interesting.
But it really does show, doesn't it? Because in the case of these animals, whether in zoos or in safari parks, their physical space doesn't change, but it shows how much their behaviour is influenced whether by human activity, whether it's visitors coming through or visitors looking into their enclosures.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the really important things, my colleagues and friends in the university are looking at this in other species as well. And one of the most important things that also research is telling us that we need to give animals the opportunity to be adaptable within their environments. And as long as we provide that,
Oh well, we're off now, guys.
They have that opportunity to manage their own environments, as long as we give them enough space and opportunity to do that.
I can see what today's going to be like. Lost a set of lights and bulbs. They ain't fucking cheap. A number plate, well, I'd say that's about 25-30 quid. Not had to buy a number plate yet. I could have bought a lorry with all the damage I've paid for. Quite easy. Front ends, back ends, number plates now. What a fucking day. No number plate again. Can't pull the old chain trick because I ain't got them anymore. I left them on that last trailer. had a week, Nicky. Got to have a week off soon. I ain't had an holiday yet. I had a week off the other week, but that was to fit a fire, to pull me back out. But then again, I'll be having 6 months off soon, I should say, with a fucking traffic ban. For a mile an hour. 47 in 40, I'm entitled to do 46, is what I'm telling the judge. So you got me for 1 mile an hour. How petty. Crack on, here's a ban. I'll get some teeth on the NHS, I'll get some extra training on the NHS free. Council tax will be off me back. Cheers. Thank you, Judge. Think I'm paying you fine, think again. If I don't get a ban, I'll pay you fine with pennies. Copper pennies.
additional £480 off when you trade in your old Samsung. All on the UK's best network. Now that's more bang for your buck.
CPI plus 3.9% increase each March. Best compared to web performance. Verified ee.co.uk/claims. £30 upfront and £90 per month. Will be £98. Unlimited data. Trade in S10 or above. Ends 29th of September. 24-month plan. Terms apply.
On FM.
On digital radio.
On your mobile. And here.
Play Links FM.
Across Lincolnshire and Newark. Links FM.
We'll finally find out who's to become the next Prime Minister this lunchtime. Rishi Sunak still hoping to upset the odds by beating the favourite Liz Truss. Our Westminster correspondent Georgie Prodromo has the details.
Well, after 2 very long summer months where Tory members across the country have been voting, the day is finally here. 2 candidates left, a former Chancellor and former Foreign Secretary, both with very different ideas on how to deal with the cost of living crisis.
What I don't believe is taking money from people in taxes and then giving it back to them in benefits.
My approach provides direct help to the most vulnerable and doesn't do things that risk making the situation worse.
Meanwhile, Boris Johnson's been dodging questions about a potential comeback.
People in this country are more interested in their gigabit broadband than they are in the fate of this or that politician.
We'll know this afternoon whether we get low taxes with Liz Truss or direct support from Rishi Sunak.
The Kids Lincolnshire charity says that disabled children and families are facing a tough time with the cost of living crisis. It says many need specialist equipment which all adds on to their energy bills. The charity helps to provide a range of resources to those that are disabled. Katie Ghosh is the chief executive.
Well, we all need to help each other when it's a cost of living crisis, but we do need the government and the Prime Minister to step up and provide that targeted financial support, particularly for the families we're working with in Lincolnshire and elsewhere.
A spokesperson for the Department for Work and Pensions said they're supporting 6 million disabled people with an extra £150 payment later this month. 2 suspects are still at large in Canada after a series of stabbings left 10 people dead. At least 15 others were injured in a province in the centre of the country. The carer's reportedly been assaulted outside a care home in Dorrington near Sleaford. She was struck on the face by an unknown man on Friday lunchtime. The woman was injured but is expected to make a full recovery. And in tennis, Nick Kyrgios is into the quarter-finals of the US Open tennis after beating Daniil Medvedev.
Weather.
With the Mirage Mablethorpe. Rain or shine, visit the arcade. Licensed cafe and bar. Open every day.
Largely dry and bright this morning with light winds across Lincolnshire and Newark, highs of 24. That's the latest. I'm Julie Gaston.
Good morning. Is there any parents listening today? Drinks around mine about 9:30, yeah? Prosecco's going to be flowing because the kids are back today. Party poppers at the ready.
Field full of sunflowers.
You know I spent this day
County right now, Sleaford. That's where it's about 1.59 for a litre of fuel. Very nice, that'll do. Thank you very much. So obviously I filled up there because I saved about £5 on a full tank. Hey, that's what I did. Anyway, it was a bit of a queue to get into the petrol station, as per at those prices. And eventually, the way cleared. Numerous cars moved off, and so I was next in line. I moved forward. You know, at a petrol station, you've got your two pumps, one at the front, one at the back. And usually, if you were to pull forward, you would go to the front when they're both clear. Sure. However, it was blocked by a code. That pump clearly not working, so it was blocked. So I had to go to one behind. Did that, went out, started doing all the buttons on the pay at pump thing.
Oh, shut up.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of girl band since then would have absolutely, that would not have happened in the Pussycat Dolls, you know. Nicole, she's forgotten the vocal, the others are all pointing loud.
She'd forgotten the vocal, don't worry, the track at the back with the camera singing. Trending top 3.
I'll leave you with that. 11 minutes past 7. Thank you for having us in. It's Mikey and Ms. Alexander here with you.
Yeah, a very good morning to you. Happy Monday on what is also our training day.
Yes, we'll get to that in a sec. It is our training day today.
Number 1.
If schools can have an inset day, so can we. More on that. After we look at what's trending.
Shut up.
To do first up, through the door, number 10, what needs to be done. You can call 0800 389 3333, text leads to 81333, WhatsApp us 08000 321 333, or you can email richardstead at bbc.co.uk. We'll talk more about this after 8 o'clock this morning. We're going to be joined by Dr. Pete Woodcock, who is a lecturer in politics at the University of Huddersfield, who will sort of talk about the political side of this, because obviously it's a big political story. It would be ridiculous not to. Sort of the implications of a new cabinet, when people will be sworn in, that kind of thing. But also maybe what happens when you move into number 10? What happens when you move? Have you ever wondered this? I mean, it doesn't.
What happens when you move in number 10? Joe Public, they decorate the bastard for them.
And you go in, but do you get all new stuff? Is there
First thing on the bill, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying, do you?
I mean, if you didn't like the picture of Churchill where Boris had left it, would you move it? And that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, I realise this is very much, you know, the sort of the incidental stuff that goes with it. But have you ever, does she get a new mattress?
Oh,
or does he get a new mattress?
Would you want to sleep?
Well, anyway.
Anyway,
stop it. 0800 389 3333. Text leads to 81333. WhatsApp us 08000 321 333. Or probably not on that last point. I just tried to think of an example. Probably picked the wrong one. Richard Stead at bbc.co.uk. And we will find out, along with everybody else, today. 12:30 is the time that's being given for the announcement of the next Conservative leader and Prime Minister. And as I say, most opinion polls suggest it's likely that the Foreign Secretary, Liz Truss, will beat the former Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, to the top job. They won't become Prime Minister, though, until tomorrow. So we'll find out today. Tomorrow is when they become Prime Minister. We'll have full details on that throughout the day today here on BBC Radio Leeds.
The football season is here. And we'll bring you all the action.
Bradford City have their first away win of the campaign.
Comments and reaction.
I'm absolutely happy because everyone's put a shift in today.
On air and on social media.
I thought the referee had a dreadful game, quite honestly, but I think we stole a point.
Get closer to your team.
West Yorkshire Sport.
And BBC Sounds.
West Yorkshire Sport Daily is back tonight from 6 on BBC Radio Leeds. Make sure you are listening out to that. Gail is here from 10. Pete from 2 o'clock this afternoon, and more on what's coming up on those programmes on the way. Just looking at the front pages of the newspaper, just had sport. I always like a quick look at League Express on a Monday morning. A couple of West Yorkshire based players on the front page there. Cruz Leeming, Chris McQueen. Obviously a dramatic win for the Rhinos to get them into the playoffs on Saturday. Chris McQueen, good story as well, making the dream team. One of the West Yorkshire representatives in the dream team. Other headlines in the tabloids. Daily Star, I mentioned this. Tears for Beers, £20 for a pint. Well, we can't be affording to cry in, says the Daily Star. Truss, wait for week for crisis plan, is the headline there on the Daily Mirror. One disaster to another is how they describe Boris Johnson handing on to Liz Truss. The sun, so near, so far. This is a rift of the princes, say the Sun. Wills and Harry, half a mile apart, but still won't meet up. This is because Prince Harry, or the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are in the country. A lot of talk on this. Might try and find out exactly why before 8 o'clock this morning. Try and demystify some of the headlines there, what's it all about. The Daily Express, Truss pledges action on energy bills in first week. Liz Truss has promised immediate action to help soaring energy bills. The Daily Mail says, now BBC comic mocks Liz Truss. This was yesterday's Laura Koonsberg programme, wasn't it? Joe Lysy was on, and apparently put on a comedy performance. Well, I didn't see it myself, but apparently Have I Got News For You went after Liz Truss and Boris Johnson on Friday night too. So the Daily Mail is flagging that up this morning. The Times, they say Truss team holds talks on freezing energy bills. Support package which will apparently rival furlough. So the old furlough support that we saw during COVID, apparently Liz Truss is planning to freeze energy bills and spend a similar amount of money. Truss will press on with tax cuts despite Tory warnings, is the front page of The Guardian. In the Daily Telegraph, Truss could freeze bills to avoid energy Armageddon. So basically Liz Truss is the next Prime Minister, according to all the newspapers. Official confirmation at 12:30 today.
Oh, we can't
let's
fucking
find out
wait.
what West Yorkshire's weather is looking like.
For a bit.
Wet old morning, Katerina Christodoulou.
Hello, yes, and we had some thunderstorms overnight as well. So any rain, any lingering showers out there this morning, now clearing away. And actually, it's a beautiful start. We've got clear spells, lengthy spells of sunshine, and we're going to hold on to a good deal of that sunshine through the course of this afternoon. Perhaps a bit of patchy cloud from time to time. And in that sunshine, it's going to be feeling warm today. Temperatures up to around 24 degrees. So tonight, cloud will build, further showers will develop. Some of these showers merging into longer spells of rain, again heavy and possibly on the thundery side. It will be mild tonight. Our temperatures will dip to around 15 degrees. So tomorrow through the morning, cloud amounts will increase. Further showers will develop. Again, these showers very hit and miss through the morning, but again some on the heavy and thundery side. But through the afternoon, they should start to ease. One or two will linger, but the majority should start to ease and clear. And tomorrow it will be a touch cooler. We're looking at highs of around 21 degrees. So Wednesday, there'll be areas of cloud around with some sunshine, a few spots of drizzle on and off through the day. And Thursday looks to be overcast through the morning, bright and sunny spells through the afternoon with a chance of further showers. So very showery through this week, I think.
I just looked out of the window because I didn't believe you when you said it was all right. I really didn't. Yeah, it's really nice.
It's lovely. It's
couldn't
clear.
believe that. I honestly looked out of the window and I got the blinds that are closed here. I thought, no, she's getting this.
So you looked at a set of closed blinds.
With Hertie Gruton Expeditions, explore the beautiful sorts, and you're a big part of it. This is when everyone switches back on the radio after the summer holidays, and this is the first quiz of the new term. So Vic, tell us about your team, where you're from and how do you all know each other?
Amazing, yeah. So, yes, I'm Vic. I'm from Newcastle, currently living in Hertfordshire and working down south here.
Nice.
And our team are 5 girls of chemical engineers. We went to uni in Newcastle. And yeah, we all played netball together on the chemical engineering netball team. And yes, everyone who does that course seems to bond because we're all in the library so much. So yeah, some of my best friends on the call today, on the call this week.
I like the sound of the chemical engineering netball team.
And oh yes, we took it really seriously as well. We were winning in mural competitions. It was good.
Tell us about this band you're in then.
Oh yes, so I was in a band all the way up till I was about 18, 19. Yeah, and we just gigged around pubs in Newcastle. Absolutely loved it. We were like a vocal harmony group, so there was 3 singers, me being one of them. And then we had a 4-piece band behind us, and yeah, we won a competition and supported Top Loader at the Master Time Festival at the Tynemouth Priory. If you've ever been up to that area before.
I've been in that area, but not that venue. What was the name of the band?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask this. So this was probably why we didn't make it big time. We were an acronym of Katie, Eve and Vic, so we were called Kev.
That is
very
amazing.
creative.
I'm really pleased I asked about that. There will be people listening who will have seen you, Kev, before me, and they'll go, "Oh my God, yes, I recognise that."
Yes, if they went to our school, they'll probably know who we are.
Oh, you've got to get Kev back together, because it's never too late to get the band back together, I don't think.
If there's ever a time, I feel like this could prompt it now.
Okay, have we got some dingers? Let's get on with the quiz. You've got to set the total today, Vic, as the captain. A load of questions about stuff that happened yesterday. Your time will start after you give me the first answer, and your questions begin now. Which Manchester team beat Arsenal 3-1 at Old Trafford?
Man United.
Yes. Harry Styles was at the Venice Film Festival, but in which country is Venice in?
Italy.
Yes. Which Easy On Me singer shared a photo posing with her first Emmy? Yes. Nat O'Leary launched the Radio 1 Naughty show yesterday. Who else is launching a new show on Radio 1 today at 1 o'clock?
Vic and... Oh my God. Dean and
Yes, you got it,
Katie.
Dean and Vicky, yes. Celebrity SAS, Who Dares Win started last night. Amber Gill is on it, but which reality show did Amber win in 2019? Yes, yesterday was Sunday. Spell Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes. The Burley Horse Trials were on BBC Two yesterday, but what noise does a horse make?
Hey!
Yeah. By the way, just going to stop the clock there. I always thought that Burley Horse Trials was like big horses, you know, like a big burly horse. But it's not, is it?
Oh, it's a place.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hello.
Let's continue. Which Drag Race host was nominated for Outstanding Host for Reality? Yes. Which Midlands Premier League team, captained by Johnny Evans, lost 5-2 to Brighton?
Leeds.
No, it's Leicester City. Which former US president won an Emmy for narrating the Netflix docuseries Our Great National Parks? Former US president.
Obama?
Yes. What time was it at this time yesterday?
7:22.
It was! Which Pixar film about a family of superheroes was on BBC One at 3:50 yesterday afternoon?
The Incredibles.
Correct. Which Halo, Single Ladies and Break My Soul singer celebrated their birthday? Yes, yesterday was day 7 of the US Open. In which sport?
Tennis.
Correct. Max Verstappen won the Dutch Grand Prix yesterday, but which country do Dutch things come from?
Netherlands?
Yes, the Netherlands. It was World Samosa Day yesterday. What shape is this traditional samosa?
Triangle.
Yes, and Dr. Dolittle was on ITV2 at 2:50 yesterday afternoon. But what is Dr. Dolittle's special skill?
You can talk to animals.
Yes, indeed. Good. Some great questions this morning.
The football was the only thing I revised, and that is what I got was the point on.
You did so well. You got 16 points today.
Oh my God!
Yeah, really strong start to the week. That is a really good start, and sets it up nicely for the rest of your teammates, which we'll catch up with as the week progresses. Vic, thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Greg. Have a good day.
Speak on Friday. Bye.
No matter what I do,
chat is about burly horses. Big burly horses at the Burley Horse Trials. Someone's texted in saying, the Burley Horse Trials happen at a place called Burley House. Oh, wow. So big horses, big houses also. If you have a Burley horse, you must have a Burley house. More quiz tomorrow on The Breakfast Show at 7:15.
BBC Radio 1.
Every day not only when you're lonely, yeah. You see you think you know me, but you don't even know nothing about me, yeah. You see my thick thighs, that's when you look into my brown eyes. You see my little eyes can make you switch sides. You never know the devil in a disguise, so why don't you stand up, baby? Yeah. Tell me, do you want me on top? So let me show you, I don't need to back it up. Don't wanna hold you slow, just split you in half in my heart. I just wanna love on you, trust in you, honor you, please do the same on your part. Be honest, you want it. Be heartless, regardless of my conscience. Be honest, you want it. Be heartless, regardless of my conscience. Take time, can I stare around whenever I see bad vibes? Before you come my way, make sure you think twice. Look into my eyes, but I can never see eyes. I can point a gun, but you know I could never lie. Come through, I can show you something you can run to. When I'm finished, you'll be feeling brand new. Wanna be somebody you can run through. And you can put that on my life one time. No cap, big fine, so good. Catch feels, yeah. If you make it back, then you can lie. Just be so much more time. You want it. Be heartless, regardless of my conscience. Be honest, you want it. Be heartless, regardless of my
People they talk them majestic, about the way your body twisting. Make me lose control in a this thing, Lord. And it's all because I'm thinking of us. Don't put me under the bus. I never spend them under your love. I don't know why nobody want me. They say my baby could take me back. But you're this and not the man. If I do you bad, I beg, girl, I never lie. You already know why.
Georgia Smith and Burner Boy, Be Honest, on the Radio 1 Breakfast Show, Monday morning, 5th of September. Greg James with you till 10:30. I've got Gail, I've got Central C, we'll get you up to date with all the latest things in just a bit as well. And a huge day for the news as well. We'll keep you up to date across all of that. And here's Rebecca Swash with the latest.
We're going to find out who our new Prime Minister will be today. Later, the Conservative Party will announce the winner of the contest to replace Boris Johnson. They'll officially become PM after they meet the Queen at Balmoral tomorrow. Here's Newsbeat's politics reporter Jordan Kenny.
The war in Ukraine, rising energy and food costs, and pressures on the NHS. These are some of the major issues either Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak will have to face when they become Prime Minister. Liz Truss, who's the favourite to win, has promised to act immediately to help households with rising costs by considering a freeze on energy bills. Rishi Sunak has pledged to give extra support to those who need it. We'll know the results by lunchtime.
Elsewhere, 3 men are being questioned in connection with the death of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell, who was shot dead in her home in Liverpool. One man's being held on suspicion of murder. 2 others were arrested on suspicion of assisting an offender. In Canada, police are searching for 2 suspects after at least 10 people were killed in mass stabbings in the province of Saskatchewan. Rhonda Blackmore is part of the local police force there.
Let me be clear. We are still looking for the 2 suspects. We are asking residents across Saskatchewan and our neighbouring provinces to be vigilant.
Back here, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is giving a speech at a summit of young leaders in Manchester today. It's the first time since moving to California more than 2 years ago that the Duchess has spoken at a public event in the UK. She'll be going to other charity events with Prince Harry here this week. And singer-songwriter Grit told Newsbeat she kept her music a secret at school because she was scared of it not doing well.
I guess it's that fear of failure. I kind of kept it under wraps, and while I was doing my A-levels, I
was like travelling into London, writing songs, coming back, turning up to school really tired. And it was like 2 weeks after prom I released my first song.
Last year, she became the youngest person to be named in the Rising Star category at the Brit Awards. On to sport now. Let's start with tennis. At the US Open, Australian Nick Kyrgios has knocked out last year's champion Daniel Medvedev. It means he'll lose his ranking as world number one now. Nick Kyrgios says he has been training hard.
I'm just trying to work hard every day, trying to make every practice session, count, getting to sleep. I would probably be out every night. Before, now I've got a great girlfriend, she helps me.
In football, Manchester United's new signing Anthony scored in his first match for them as he ended Arsenal's winning streak this season. The game finished 3-1 at Old Trafford. Here's what Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta had to say.
It's really disappointing because looking back the game, for these boys to play the way they have played here, big credit to them, but we have to come out with a much better result.
And in the Championship, Sheffield United are a point clear at the top of the table now after their 2-0 win at Hull City. This is News Beats. It's now 7:33.
Rebecca, thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Radio 1 Breakfast Show. It is Greg James here. The start of a new term for lots of people. Fresh starts, which means lots of people excited, lots of people anxious. Also back in routine for a lot of you as well. And we'll be here every morning. Whether you're feeling happy or sad, anxious or excited, we will help you into the day. Just remember, turn on the radio. We'll be here, getting you up to date with all the latest things and trying our very best to bring you as much nonsense as possible. Hamish is 11 and in Kent and says, Greg, it's my first day at big school today. Huge day. That is a huge day. In fact, we should probably roll out the big school explosions. Hang on a second. If you are going to big school today, it's only right that we say, have a great day at big school! Rosie's in Hertfordshire, she's also at big school. And says, your first day at the breakfast show, Greg, was my first day of secondary school. And I have listened every single day since. It is my first day of year 11 today, which feels crazy. Please can you give a shout out to my brother who is starting year 9 as well. Yeah, that's Rosie and Fernley in Hertfordshire. Definitely. In fact, for your dedication to the breakfast show, Rosie, I hope you're still listening. In fact, I know you're still listening. I'm going to make you start listening. Wow, what an honour. What an honour. Gale on the way.
Somebody told Doja Cat, I'm trying to improve.
And now Calvin.
I said just turn around. They said stop, but what do they know? Lifting how you bounce. They feel like damn. Look at those dance. Damn. It don't make sense. Damn. I'm convinced. Damn. It's magic. That's what it's like to
In a top try, see a man topless, even a hugging my brothers and say that I love them, but I don't swing that way. The man them celebrate Eid, still running on Christmas Day. Somebody told Doja Cat that I'm trying to indulge in that. In my grey tracksuit, see the motion clap when you're throwing it back. These females planning on doing me wrong, so I'm grabbing a dome at the Trojan pack. Post a location after we're gone, can't slip and let them know where we're at. I don't know about you, but I value my life. Cause imagine I die, and I ain't made 100 M's yet. There's so much things I ain't done yet. The flight attendant, I don't party, but I got Cardi there, so I might attend it. Gotta kick back sometimes and wonder how life would have been if I never did take them risks and would have I prospered. Floating and I won't go under. Been out of town for a month. Absence made the love grow fonder. You
really?
Well, the key thing about economics is it's non-zero sum. You can actually, I know this sounds a bit strange, but you can actually create something from nothing.
The old argument is you cut taxes and stimulate.
Well, if you do these other things as well, I mean, if you have significant regulatory reform, and of course, not forget the trade agenda, the external trade policy is really important.
But I think, forgive me interrupting, I think if you said this trust would like to be made over a decade, I think Paul Johnson, I suspect, said, well, perfectly rational, you can argue for or against it, I think investment is more important. What people like he are saying, the Treasury orthodoxy is often saying, and indeed supporters of Mrs Thatcher, Nigel Lawson, her former Chancellor, Brian Griffiths, who was a former policy chief, are saying, is if you do that now, when inflation is high, when borrowing is high, when interest rates go up, if you do that now all at the same time, there's a huge risk. Do you deny the risk, or is it a risk worth taking?
Well, I do. I mean, the Federal Governor of the Reserve actually made a speech quite recently about the reasons why we're here, the reasons why we have inflation, why do we have high cost of freight, and so and a lot of it, some of the things we can't do much about. We can't do much about China's COVID containment policies. That's led to a lot of supply side problems in freight and so forth. But a lot of it is our own self-inflicted wounds. Our limited energy production is one thing that the government and the Reserve pointed out. Our own approach to lockdown, etc. So you have to understand that we're here in this high inflation for specific reasons. We have to actually tailor our policy response to those specific reasons. This is not the ordinary business cycle.
I want to ask you both things to be brief, I'm afraid. The idea that is fashionable just now is the energy price freeze. Now, there's more than one way of doing it, we know that. Labour has an approach, and this trust seems to be examining what's supported by the energy companies. In this context of a conversation about economic policy, good, bad, or what are the risks and what are the upsides, Paul Johnson?
Well, it's a terrible policy, but it may be one that we can't avoid. We are looking at huge increases in energy prices, but of course an energy freeze will cost tens billions, maybe £100 billion over a couple of years, which is a vast amount of money, and give lots of money to people who don't really need it. Now, what we would ideally do is target that support of those who do, but we don't have very good ways of doing that, and particularly avoiding the risk of many people not paying their bills.
Well, Johnson, Schenker singing, what's your view of the energy freeze?
Well, I think we must tackle the underlying causes for the high cost of energy, and we must reform the energy sector and remove the distortions that exist that have been built up over many years, decades actually. And it may be that there are things that we have to do in terms of transfer payments to poorer households, to some of the
freeze or no freeze.
But the problem with a price cap or a price freeze is, and we may have to do it, Paul's right, we may just have to do it because we own total prices, but the problem with the price freeze or price cap, and we've seen this in California and other places, every time there's a price cap, it lowers the actual level of production and it leads to blackouts and brownouts. So I think we need to avoid that. So it's certainly maybe unfortunately necessary, but you have to do these other things as well.
Not very appealing, but it might have to be done, is the view of both Paul Johnson and Schenker. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. And just to bring you the latest, European wholesale gas prices are up about 25% this morning. Not new record highs, but this crisis certainly isn't going away.
Let's have a look at the papers now, and some of the reflections on Boris Johnson, who's of course now in his last 24 hours as Prime Minister. The Times main editorial says there is no question that this departure marks a humiliating end to a premiership that had promised so much. It says he only has himself to blame for the premature and ignominious end To his premiership, there was always an element of risk for the Conservative Party in choosing him, but his time in power, says the Times, was marked by reluctance to acknowledge difficult trade-offs. Amongst the historians consulted by The Guardian for its piece along similar lines is Anthony Selden, who says to have squandered the landslide is really unusual. He simply didn't know how to be Prime Minister. But Sir Anthony also says he had once-in-a-generation political gifts, the ability to read politics, to see a big picture, to communicate, and to be liked far and wide.
Meanwhile, in the Daily Mail, Dominic Lawson, son of the Chancellor we were just talking about, has what he calls a cunning plan to cut energy bills. He then goes on in the headline in the Mail to say, but whatever you do, don't tell the Scots. The reason is he is advocating not putting the clocks back an hour when British summertime ends on October the 30th. The argument is that people would not have to turn on their energy bills quite so much down south. At least the argument against in Scotland is always been it will be darker for longer in the mornings and not very attractive. But Dominic Lawson says it's an idea. An easier idea is in the Express, where they say that Blackpool's illuminations have switched to eco-friendly bulbs. So now it's a little bit cheaper to look at glorious lights of that.
It is now 7:45. There are mysteries within the life of the woman who wrote murder mystery as no other of her time. Agatha Christie's books were published from the 1920s through to the 1970s, and the historian Lucy Worsley's latest book is on her life. It's called Agatha Christie, A Very Elusive Woman, and Lucy joins us now. Morning, Lucy.
Good morning.
Why elusive?
Well,
guys, I'll
she's
pause
a
it
woman whose life story, to my ideas have been discussed, I'm told. Some have been progressed and some haven't. So some things to get out of some form may or may not be bang up today, but there doesn't seem to be, or there isn't, a denial that one idea is this government-backed loan, as you said, at colossal expense.
And that is pretty extraordinary, isn't it? She began this campaign, Liz Truss, by telling the Financial Times, I'm not the sort of Conservative that likes handouts. I want the Conservative way, which is tax cuts. Well, this isn't a handout price freeze, but it is, but to the energy companies, but it's not to ordinary citizens. It is price control, the like of which we've not seen since the 1970s.
Yeah, it is a colossal state intervention that you can see from space. Now, the argument they will make is it's necessary for the scale of the problem. If companies and households are going to be bankrupted by unpayable bills, then politically, a new government could be bankrupted by people in that situation. So it had to be seen to rise to the challenge. They also faced the political challenge that over the summer, whilst the two leadership wannabes were slugging it out on their charming dash around the country trying to charm Conservative members, Labour came out with their own policy, effectively set a political bar for the new Prime Minister to clear, saying that winter's fuel prices would be frozen if Sir Keir Starmer was Prime Minister. So that was the political challenge against which the new Prime Minister was always going to be measured in week one. Hence this emphasis in the last couple of weeks from Team Truss. I'm even told that Nadine Zahawi, the current Chancellor, likely to feature in the makeup of the new Truss government, even built in conversations on a recent trip to the United States as Chancellor, conversations with oil and gas producers as they try to work up this plan. On that other point you mentioned about this, the scale of this as an intervention, today's Business Secretary actually tomorrow's Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng in the Financial Times this morning, talking about in very Chancellor-esque language. Here comes another one of those little phrases. There will need to be some fiscal loosening to help people through the winter, which is Chancellor speak for a whopping great dollop of government money in one way or another to help us out with our bills.
Funny that when they're not clear with their language, isn't it? Chris Mason, thank you for translating into fluent humour.
Let me turn to Simon Jack, our business editor, who's here with me in the studio. This is after days and days of Energy Supply's own plan, Simon, on how the bills crisis could be addressed. So Thursday could be the day for a Liz Truss plan. What's your sense of what the shape of the package might look like?
Well, in the industry, it's been clear, they've been certain for weeks now, that some sort of super fund, this deficit fund, is the only game in town, and officials are coming round to that view. Now, you can slice it a couple of ways. You can do the Scottish Power version of this, which is you freeze all bills where they are now, you don't let them go in October, and you keep them there for 2 years, cost roughly £100 billion. Or you can do the OVO boss on this programme laid out his plan last week, and he said that you would taper off support for higher earners, so not everyone would get the same level of support, that one a bit cheaper. But what neither of these plans contemplate is how you get assistance to businesses, and this is absolutely critical right now, because in October the vast majority of businesses get their new bills for the year ahead, and that could be 4 or 5 times what they've been paying, and there'll be stats out later this week which will say that
fucking lay by there, you
businesses will go bust at that point, and those that don't go bust will only be paying their energy bill at the expense of their wage bill, so you will see a lot of redundancies. That, as the current Chancellor, I think until this afternoon or tomorrow, admits would create economic scarring, which has to be avoided.
Because one of the bright spots, if you like, in this sort of general low growth picture has been that we've still had relatively high levels of employment. Now, and interestingly, the German politician I've just been speaking to, and we'll run that interview in a moment, they have decided in their latest package to give support to companies. But on the costs of all of this, given that we've just had an increase on the wholesale gas markets, even the £100 billion, is it possible that it starts to look like it's going to be more?
I think they call it an estimate. I think a wild guess might be a better way of describing it, given the volatility of it. I was just looking at the gas price this morning. Obviously, everyone looking to what would happen after the news that Gazprom is shutting off Nord Stream 1. Prices rose.
Wow. Well, guys, we've got about an hour and a half to go.
Forgetting
an hour.
The passion.
So
you know, the fact that this is an incredibly exciting day, and for that person coming through the door in number 10, it's the highlight of their career, and that may be the biggest moment of their lives. So as Cabinet Secretary, you greet them at the door, they then get clapped in by all the staff, you nip round, and then you when they finally come through that group, they come into the cabinet room, and you're there with them and their spouse on their own. And it's at that moment that I remember David Cameron putting his head in his hands and thinking, oh my God, what have I let myself in for? Because in a sense, you're presenting with confirmation of the scale of responsibility they have, not just on the economy, but also those famous nuclear codes. Oh, it's a minor thing. I say, well, Prime Minister, first of all, we're going to sort out, do you want to blow up the rest of the world when we've been blown up? Then there's all those security and intelligence briefings, which, believe me, are quite scary. And then we're going into, and we've got the cabinet to sort out, and I've got President Biden on the phone, and I've got